Hello and welcome to the official podcast, back again in the Thunderdome. This time we're joined by a special guest, someone I'm sure you're all familiar with, the man behind the rabbit holes, Fredrik. Go ahead and take the stage.
Hello everyone, my name is Fredrik Knudsen. I produce a documentary series called Down the Rabbit Hole, published on YouTube. I essentially look into strange and obscure phenomena, typically with rather complex histories, and use storytelling essentially to unravel them and help make them clear and bring them out and hopefully bring some sense to them. Although sometimes these stories don't make a lot of sense, and that's the point.
So that brings me to the first question I immediately want to ask. Of all of the rabbit holes that you've explored, which one is your personal favorite?
Favorite?
Yeah. The one that just was this cornucopia of filth or something that was just so wild that you just were glued to it.
Probably the Austrian wine poisoning, if only because I had someone helping me with it, because all of the sources about the Austrian wine poisoning were in German. And so the only way to really get at the good stuff was by having someone who knew German help me. Didn't translate all the books, obviously, but they were able to sort of summarize it and collect the information that we needed. And it was especially satisfying because there were so many. I think what happened is there was one English article about the Austrian wine poisoning, and then every article after that parroted like a game of telephone, messing up all of the same facts over and over again. And I was able to sort of go into some of these original German sources and fix some of these misconceptions.
So would you say that one was really appealing to you because it was also like someone was telling you the story, since you had to get all the info from someone else?
Oh, that's a big read, Andrew.
Yeah.
No, no, because I also had to do my own research. For example, I had to dig into the chemical processes of diethylene glycol in the body. I had to look up some medical papers, for example, and educate myself in a field about which I know nothing, which is a lot of my videos, to be fair. Like for the Deep Blue video, I spent a month practicing and learning chess.
Oh, that's pretty fucking intense. I really committed to it.
I wanted to make sure that I could summarize the games in a way that at the very I wanted to know enough that I could take these incredibly complicated games and help people who don't know chess understand them at the very least on an emotional and fundamental level.
But is there an emotional level to chess that I don't know about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chess is yes.
Please tell me about it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure Charlie could tell you all about it. But chess games are extremely dramatic because the emotion of the game changes moment to moment, because while you can tell a story with the game, it really is like every move is a new position. And so at the drop of a hat, a game can completely shift from one person to the other. So it's extremely dramatic.
It's also extremely nerve-wracking. Like the adrenaline is pumping.
Listen, I have played way back in the day. I played so much League of Legends. I played games competitively. I have never had my heart pounding as hard as when I'm playing a game of chess.
Yep.
Is that like just a normal game of chess against like just a random person online, or are you talking about like tournament level chess?
No, I'm
matches?
talking about just matchmaking, like basic bitch matchmaking. It is nerve-wracking because like all it takes is one little misstep and it's like, oh, well, there goes my rook. I guess I lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people carry way too much, though. Like, it also doesn't help the image of the game that like the higher profile chess players are all petulant children who live off of their own farts. Like, Gary Kasparov, I still remember the hissy fit he threw when he lost against that machine, Deep Blue. He was like, "This is not fair. You guys are rigging the game. It's impossible that I could have lost. This is not real. You guys hacked me and you studied my past games and shit." He just couldn't accept that he lost against a fucking machine.
I actually will defend Kasparov here because
oh boy,
Yes, like yes. He
Kaya, did you really
activate
think
it.
this wouldn't happen when the man made an over 2-hour documentary on this exact thing?
And you took out of your
go.
ass about it immediately. I love it.
So I'm sorry. But I have to defend him a little bit because he was treated terribly by IBM. They were doing everything that
That is
they
awesome.
could in order to like screw him over. But beyond that, the
Did they
man
put laxatives in
admitted
his tea?
what?
Did they like fuck
My
with him
fucking God.
in the green room?
Oh no, they moved his his retreat area. They moved his green room to like at first it was like a 5-minute walk across the building or something ridiculous. Then they moved it to right next to him, but it wasn't even private. Like there were
What
people.
do you mean by
like,
it's not even private?
So
They just
so
put a whole bunch of people in there randomly?
no, people.
Spectators.
It was people were walking through it constantly. It wasn't quiet and it wasn't secluded.
okay.
Like he didn't have a like. It is very normal in really high level games like this for the players to have a smoking room to retreat to think about the game, and they put his like 5 minutes down like across the building, and then he was like, "This is ridiculous. This isn't normal." And then they're like, "Okay," so they basically just put up some screens, and we're like, "All right, there you go."
Did they give the computer a private room? Because that's
They
not...
did. No, that's the maddening thing. Like Castle,
Wait,
like
they actually
Deep Blue, like the server racks were moved to the building, and there was air conditioning blowing all over it to keep it cool, just so it wouldn't like burn out. And Kasparov had to fight to get AC.
Damn, man.
Which is actually a
implore-
big
That is
deal
pretty funny.
because like there were stage lights on him, like all huge stage lights on him, and he was there in a suit.
I implore the two of you to watch his video on
I
it.
fucking love that actually.
Fredrik's newest video is over 2 hours on this whole thing. I watched the entire thing, and it gets crazier than what he's letting on. It's a very good video, Fredrik.
Thank you. It was a lot of work. The new video that is just about finished is wackier. Wackier is not the right term. There's a lot of death.
Yeah, wacky
yeah,
probably would
that
be the
is pretty
term for
wacky.
that.
It's so
yeah.
goddamn kooky.
It's always
No,
a good sign.
No, it is way more complicated and absurd, I'd say, even than Deep Blue. But Deep Blue was absolutely like some of the things that happened in it were ridiculous.
Is the new video connected to Deep Blue at all? Did Deep Blue kill someone?
No,
that would be awesome.
fortunately, Deep Blue
That
Blue
would've been
remains
wacky.
unbesmirched.
Like the server rack just fell on someone. crushing them.
A poor museum worker was just buffing.
Fucking
Way too much air
the
conditioning
ultimate
was
chess
pushing on it.
move. The ultimate chess move is just killing people and figure it out.
Yeah,
That
it
would be
calculates
so
if your
cool.
opponent's dead, they can't fight back.
What I really want to see, I genuinely, I wish we could revive Terry Davis and let him go on, like, program Deep Blue. Like, see what that man could accomplish with all that processing power.
Did Terry Davis accomplish anything with his operating system?
The operating system
died.
itself was kind of the
He
goal. He most of the coding, I think that there's a misconception that he made it because God told him to. I suspect personally that he started, and there is evidence to suggest this, that he started work on it before his schizophrenia started getting worse. Like he had episodes, but I don't think that it was so all-consuming when he started work on it. And then after his schizophrenia got worse, he started ascribing holy features to it. Because originally it was like it went through a number of names. Let's see, like before Temple OS, it was, what was it? There were like 3 or 4 different names that it went through. And when he was advertising them that early on, he was advertising it as just like a cool operating system. And then the godly part started melting into it more. Lose those,
Yeah, that
thank you.
guy had issues. That guy had issues, and you would almost feel bad for him, except he was also rabid racist. very, very angry racist.
So again, like this is something that I didn't bring up in the video, but specifically doing things and saying things that are offensive is a trait of schizophrenia. And then as some things have become less acceptable to say, you will see that with patients with schizophrenia, there is a rise in discussion of that material. So for some reason, schizophrenia makes
racist?
people, like it makes them say things that are inflammatory. And
Kyle,
so
are
how
you
much
They're
of
not
schizophrenic?
it,
actually
like
racist.
Tourette's?
They just enjoy. Yeah, well,
it's hard to say
yeah,
how
kind
much of
of.
it was just his conscious mind and how much of it was the sickness.
yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that
schizophrenia.
he himself is racist just because he says racist things due to his illness.
It's I mean there are tons of arguments to be made and they're semantic arguments, but the simple truth is it's complicated, which is kind of the moral of a lot of my videos.
Kaya, are you schizophrenic?
Schizo for some ad reads, Andrew.
I'm glad that you picked
That
up.
was the,
You know what?
glad
that was the
I'm,
weirdest segue.
I'm keeping my hands away from this one. All yours.
I'm glad you picked up what I was putting down, because I think all of us hear voices, and the voice says, "Let me tell you something. hey, you over here." And you search the dark corners of your mind for that tiny little whisper, and you say, "Are you talking to me?" And it says, "Did you know spring is just around the corner, and that means it's time to get your lawn on track?" I know, the last thing anyone needs is another complicated or toxic lawn product. But Sunday isn't just another lawn care product. It's a customized lawn plan that works with nature. They take all the guesswork and unwanted chemicals out of the equation so you can grow a beautiful lawn that's better for people, pets, and the planet. Let me tell you folks something. My friend Charlie, you might have heard of him. He's got a beautiful big green lawn in his house. I've been to his house recently. I go there regularly. And I have stared at his grass and I said, "My God, how do you do this, man?" And he would come out, because this is 5:30 in the morning, the best time to look at his grass. He'd be wearing like a little pair of slippers and a robe with a cup of coffee, and he'd say, "That right there is Sunday lawn care, my friend." And I'd be just astonished at how green that grass is. Isn't that right, Charlie?
That's exactly how it goes.
It's exactly how it goes. Sunday makes taking care of your lawn easier than ever. All you have to do is use the Sunday soil and climate data that will create a tailored nutrient plan so you can get all the stuff that your lawn needs and nothing it doesn't. And if you'd like to do that, well, you can let Sunday take the guesswork out of growing a greener, more beautiful lawn this spring. Visit getsunday.com/official to get $20 off of your custom lawn plan at checkout. That's $20 off of your custom lawn plan at getsunday.com/official.
Take care of your lawn. There wasn't it Hank Hill who said that having a lawn to mow is a privilege, not a chore?
Hank Hill said, "Why would anyone do drugs when they could just mow a lawn?"
See, my initial thought when you said that you had visited Charlie's house, Andrew, was that you were the one like planting fire ant queens, like in King of the Hill. I can't believe we both went to King of the Hill.
Where else would you go and think of a
good
nice,
show.
well-kept lawn? It's an
Yeah,
amazing
that's a
show.
good point.
Yeah.
I love that it's the lawn in Texas.
So, Fredrik, I had a question on your work.
Sure.
How do you... It's a bit more broad than how do you choose what topics to cover, but do you stumble onto these things while you're just fucking around on the internet, or do you kind of have an idea in mind, or do you look down a list of suggestions? Where do you usually pull for source material on what you want to talk about? And a follow-up on that, how do you decide if it's good enough for a video?
Well, in terms of finding the topics initially, oftentimes, especially earlier on, I would just kind of say, "Oh, you know, I heard of this thing once. I'm going to take a peek." Nowadays, sometimes I will pull from viewer suggestions just to get me started, but oftentimes it's something that a friend suggests to me, and I decide to dig a little bit deeper because I have a habit of someone mentioning something and then just spending an hour or 2 or 3 trying to find more information about it and informing myself on it. But as for what makes it onto Down the Rabbit Hole, I am very stringent with what topics will work. The biggest thing is that there has to be a narrative, because at its core, Down the Rabbit Hole is story time. As long as I can take this strange thing, and there are tons of strange and odd things on the internet and throughout history, but I want to be able to tell a through line through it, because that allows me to, giving it a story gives it clarity. Although I try to steer away from common journalistic rhetoric in terms of I'm not always looking for the story that makes sense. I think that this is really common when journalists and documentarians are trying to talk about atrocities. They're looking for some logic to it. They're like, there has to be an explanation, right? And I come at it from the other angle and say sometimes things just...
Yeah, you're not trying to construct your own narrative.
Right. I don't go in... Like, I will go in with a preconception of how I think it is, but the vast majority of the time, my opinions will change on it. And basically, I don't go in with an agenda. Like, that's always my goal. I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. And that gives me an advantage in that I'm not trying to craft a particular narrative from it. Plus, I don't have a producer, so I haven't sold them on a particular narrative. Instead, I just get to dig up the information, then figure out how things happened and string those bits of information together.
So what's been the project that you've spent the most amount of time researching?
Actually, probably the Temple OS video. Digging through and finding everything was rough. There was a 2-week period where I did nothing but watch Terry's streams.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No.
It was...
Oh, no.
It was exactly as nightmarish as it sounds. I could tell I was losing lucidity by the time I was done. Although, I also... I am kind of proud of the research I did on the Time Cube video too, though. That didn't take as long, but a lot of the information was a little bit more buried and tough to find. For example, specifically the history of Richard Yancharsky and how he came to commit suicide.
Jesus Christ. I started Time Cube, but I haven't finished it yet, and I've just spoiled that entire arc for me.
Oh, yeah. Surprise. Sorry.
What the fuck, Fredrik? Jesus.
So much for crafting a story.
Wow.
Clearly don't care.
Bottom
Ruining it.
Wow,
Okay,
Jesus.
you ready? All right, my goal is that like I have a very strong opinion that a story should be enjoyable even if you know the end at the outset.
Oh, I actually agree with that.
He saved it. Yeah, he saved it.
Yeah. He's so cool.
That is amazing, because I have built a career basically off of the fact that I know I'm not.
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, I think all 4 of us are fans of your work, so you can
Yeah.
be cool among us at least.
We've
Shucks.
talked about it quite a bit on episodes, like the Wings of Redemption and Dark Side Phil ones in particular. Those are classics.
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
internet
thank you.
oddities, man. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. It's fucking fascinating. I'll tell these boys, it's I read this shit like it's a fiction novel, except it's more entertaining because it's real. You know, I go fucking Kiwi Farms is just my favorite website ever. I go on there and it's better than fucking Shakespeare. Like, how can you ever possibly argue that you could find anything better? Like, this is... You can't make this shit up. This stuff can only exist because a
know.
bunch of schizophrenic, narcissistic lunatics exist, and they overshare every aspect of their lives, and a bunch of fucking autists on the internet are willing to do the legwork to archive everything.
Yeah.
And make memes about it and compile it. It's beautiful.
It's
like Dark Side
extremes on
Phil.
both ends.
For those that don't know, like, Fred, you have a video on him. He has a thread that is 7,000 pages on the Q front. That's why it's always laughable when... That's why it's so hysterical when fucking Boogie, who's a small fish, like, comparatively speaking, saying that, oh, you know, the whole site is about me. People, I'm the biggest internet phenomenon people rip on. Like, you're a nobody, dude. You're a nobody. Like, fucking Darkside Phil's history spans over a fucking decade. And it keeps going.
That, right?
Yeah.
It's-
He also
know.
hasn't stopped. He still just streams every single fucking day.
He recently had a
incredible.
controversy. He recently just got in trouble because he doxed and threatened one of his viewers or some shit. I don't remember now. But
Multiple,
he
yeah.
just-
So what he would
just did
do,
And his career will live.
if you're
If
you're
he will
talking
still
about
be
his
around.
Discord
Thank
leaks,
God.
he would ban his whales. For those who don't know, whales are basically like people who are like, most companies make most of their money from whales. Like, if you run a casino, you make your money off of like the 1% of gambling addicts.
Same with microtransactions.
So whales are, yeah, like microtransactions. The whales are the like 1% of all players who actually have dump thousands of dollars into your game. And in this context, a whale is the people who donate a ton of fucking money to your streams. So what he would do is ban those people, because then they would have to make new accounts and tip him just to ask to be unbanned on their main accounts. And apparently he's found a way to monetize this
God,
continuously.
that's genius.
And also when he
That's genius.
gets himself unbanned, what's there? So if you guys sometimes hear me randomly burst into laughter, by the way, it's because people put goofy memes in our Patreon chat, one of which right now is Jackson with Jeffrey Epstein.
It's not even a good Photoshop either, and it got you.
It's like a Sunday newspaper, like celebrity Photoshop that caught me off guard. Sorry.
It's like a Justin RPG hover hand or something.
Wait, now why am I next to Hitler? What's going on in chat?
It's all from the same
this
guy,
movement?
too, so he spent hours doing this.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Well,
it's
clearly not
weed.
ours. Anyway, and yeah, what he would also do is when people want to be unbanned, Darkside Phil would tell them, okay, you have to send me your driver's license. And then he would just fucking paste the driver's license of apparently they do this, these idiots, and then he would put that in his Discord. That's like accessible by a couple dozen fucking people, so he would just dox people.
That's
So
One
wild.
of my favorite things about him, I watch him every now and then because he's just great background noise. But you will go to his stream, and he'll have a goal for donations, and like that's totally normal. A lot of streamers go, "Hey, I'd love to raise $50 today because it'll support my stream." And
That's not
and
egregious
this and
on
that.
its own.
No, not at all. But the way that DSP does it is every single stream, he'll have the goal on the screen, and he'll have like a top tipper and this and that. And every probably 20 minutes, he'll go, "All right, guys, I'm looking at the tips here, and I notice the tips are really low. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand. You guys want me to stream, don't you? I need that money. I need those donations. I don't get it. Is chat sick? Is something going on today? How could this happen?"
Does DSB actually have fans that enjoy him?
Yes.
Like,
Oh,
yeah.
like him?
Oh,
as a
yeah.
personality?
He was one of the, he kind of got in a bit lucky. He was one of the original Call of Duty commentators. So he just has this small group, part of his fan base, that have been following him since exactly that time and just love everything he does and think
I
he's
think-
amazing.
There's an attraction to sort of the I don't give a shit like lifestyle and attitude. I think that it appeals to people, I think, who are insecure in themselves. It allows them to sort of project onto these creators who don't seem to care about their image in any way, shape, or form, and they just say what's on their mind. And to some
It's
people,
the
that is
weirdest.
extremely endearing.
Yeah. The greatest
Well,
DS...
it can be endearing. It can also be like, there's apparently, I don't know if you guys know, there's this whole offshoot community that I just found out about yesterday called IP2. And apparently the name is based on Ice Poseidon, who used to be this piece of shit live streamer who I
Right,
think got arrested recently because he stormed the Capitol along with the other boomers. And like, there's a website called, I don't even want to promote it, but it's like IP2 streaming or some shit, and all it is a bunch of white trash drug addicts who fight each other and go on the streets, and it's live streaming on steroids. Like, one of the guys, the highlight of the past week was that one of the guys beat up his wife on stream. Like,
Oh, that's the
Okay.
thing that I sent Charlie?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah. That's what
Yeah,
you sent me.
yeah.
It was a clip of
is
that
it the girl?
guy.
Is it where the girl
Yeah.
like she slaps him 5 times and then he slaps her 3 times and she starts crying and he's like,
Yeah,
turn off
we
that
thought-
N-word music.
I found the link on our subreddit. Someone posted it to our subreddit, so I sent it to Charlie, and Charlie was like, "What the fuck is this website?" And I didn't even notice because I had just watched the video. But yeah, it was a really weird website. Did you look further into that, Kaya?
Yeah, I mean, apparently that's all it is it's no longer associated with Ice Poseidon, but it's this offshoot from the live streaming community, I guess, and this is literally all they do. It's a
Yeah.
bunch of white trash, literally just going around. I don't know how they get away with this, honestly. Just,
So
what, like,
this
police this. Can you stop pulling aside people and, like, checking their pockets for weed and actually arrest these people who, like, beat each other up for money?
Yeah, they're showing like video evidence. They're streaming.
They
it. It should
call
be pretty easy.
pepper spray content spray because apparently they use it so often that it's just like content juices. When
To
they
be fair to
pepper
them,
spray,
content spray is really funny.
That's a good term. Like in their credit, that's a good term.
they pepper spray each other and beat each other senseless, and then you're like, wow, that's kind of fucked up, man. Like, that woman just got beat up. That's horrible. And then you actually look into her and find out that she's this horrible racist white trash who tortures animals for fun. And then you're like, oh, okay, never mind, go ahead. Like, you deserve each other, you fucking people. Honestly, fucking euthanasia laws should extend to these lives. It's almost cruel to make these people suffer their own lives.
All right,
Fuck,
all right.
All right,
It's just so
DSP.
revolting.
That's enough of you, Kaya.
All right, Wings, calm down.
no, it's okay. I guarantee anything you say is like I'm just gonna be over here and be the wet blanket constantly. Like you guys are gonna be having a good
In
time, and I'm gonna be like,
Minecraft.
well, actually, like I'm going to daintily place a wet napkin over you and be like, well, actually, it's a little more complicated.
Little do you know,
Fredrik's
I'm
gonna
a
kick
raging
the-
forest fire.
Fredrik's gonna kick the fucking door down and be like, actually, DSP donated $2 million to charity this year, and
Well, no, that's the problem, though, right? Is like with these kinds of things, it's never so cut and dry, is it? It's like, oh, but actually, he's done some good things. It's like, no, it's more than that. And this is what I'm terribly interested in, because when it comes to people like Wings of Redemption and DSP and Chris Chan, I don't really care that much about the person. I remember when I was younger, I discovered the quickie and I poured over it and I was like, oh, this person's crazy. But then obviously, like, I think this is true for most people, the interest died off pretty quickly. These edits are really bad.
Sorry, I'm trying to muffle my laughter, but our chat is actively sabotaging our show, but just making me giggle. Fuck.
when have they never
Please,
not done
Frederick,
that?
continue.
I'll continue.
Continue.
So
Continue. I'm
these
sorry.
people unto themselves are not terribly interesting. What I'm interested in is the sort of almost cottage industry that they end up creating inside of themselves. So, for example, with Wings of Redemption, I'm not terribly interested in Jordy. I'm not terribly interested in the people that are like teasing him and making fun of him. I'm interested in their interaction and how they feed one another. It's a parasitic relationship where these people, and because like you said, there's a 7,000 page thread on DSP on the Kiwi farms. At some point, you have to wonder, like, what kind of person is going to spend 7,000 pages, or what group of people is going to spend 7,000 pages talking about a let's player who's a let's player whose day is done. Right? They're still there. They feed off of each other. They need each other. They create an ecosystem inside of themselves. A really good example of this that is maybe a more extreme version of this is Onision. Onision, and just by the way, there will never be a Down the Rabbit Hole on Onision because the video would just be me saying, and then Onision did another horrible, reprehensible thing, and then he did another horrible, reprehensible thing. It would be boring and no one would have a good time.
Actually, he was mistreated by IBM, though. To be fair,
Shut up. But in a further defense of Kasparov, I'm going back. Damn it! He totally in the end, now he's a huge proponent of technology, and he admitted, like, yes, I was treated poorly, but I also did not react well, and he's owned all of it. He's such a rad dude. But right, anyways,
why don't you marry him?
Onision is a particularly Onision is a particularly interesting case because he is a reprehensible person, But there is a
agreed.
cottage industry that has built up around him of people that make videos talking about Onision.
And then monetize it.
And then monetize it, exactly.
Yeah.
And these people don't get nearly as many views on their non-Onision content, and so they always end up coming back to Onision.
Yeah.
I think that's when it goes downhill, though, because that's when those people start just being reprehensible on purpose just to create the outrage and to farm those clicks. Like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's DSP or if I'm thinking of someone else, but you know how they will usually, these people who are terminally online and just get pissed off at all the people laughing at them, they will like copyright claim every video. I think DSP does the opposite. He like intentionally does just weird shit, and then when people make videos about him, he just claims them. He doesn't take them down, but he claims them.
He doesn't do that, though.
So those YouTubers who, when they put advertising on those videos, he's the one who gets the money. So
No,
that's
DSP
another one.
doesn't do that.
He said he doesn't know for sure if it was DSP. He was just...
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm thinking of him or some other dude, but
I
one of them does
know-
it. Like, they're clever about this.
Yeah,
Some of
I
them.
know one of the big ones was Futuristic Hub. I was just watching something about him the other day. He's like a not even softcore. He makes like animated Minecraft porn or something. And I know for years he would strike down videos where people talked negatively about him. I watched this like long video about him from a channel called Turkey Tom. I think that's who you're thinking
Turkey
of.
Tom.
Yeah, because he did that for like 10 years. He would do that shit. He wouldn't claim the videos. He would take them down and scare people.
Right. I'm just fascinated with these sorts of miniature ecosystems. It's again, I'm not terribly interested in the people. I'm interested in the interactions and what the internet has done, what the internet has created, and what the internet has wrought. Especially in terms of the IRL community. What were they calling it? The IP2 community. They call them IRL streamers. And again, I am going to preclude any down the rabbit hole on them because looking into them too deeply would be way too much for me mentally. I do not have the fortitude.
It's depressing.
Not
Yeah,
only is it
it's not even
depressing,
funny.
but it's not funny. It's just horrific. And on top of that, the drama that they have, it's not like I'm bored by the drama. I'm not interested in what these terrible people are doing to other terrible people. And it's just depressing because these people have created a system in which they do horrible things to themselves and each other to elicit donations. And because they have done these things, because they got an initial bit of success, they started doing these things more and more, and that drew an audience that wanted them to do it more and more, because as you do something, you will draw more people that want that from you. I've been conscious of that, and that's why I moved away from particular internet figures like DSP and Wings. I didn't want to be doing that for forever, and it's not sustainable anyways. But
it's not a
these
culture
people-
that you should really support overall anyway. It's not.
Yeah, I'm
The
on
only
the
culture that
outside.
you should really support is like saving money online with honey.
Yeah. If you want to save money online, you can use honey. You can create a honey culture, which is probably a cooking related pun, but I don't know. We all shop online and we've all seen promo codes that just float around the internet and you go, oh, I wish I could have that. Oh shit, does that have an offer on it? I don't know. Well, wait a minute. I just bought this thing and 5 minutes later I found out there's a code for it. Well, hey, relax, calm down, have a sip of your apple juice and use honey. Because honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one that it can find for your cart. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online, from fashion to gaming to food delivery to tech to, I don't know, whatever you want. Get nuts, go crazy. When you're at checkout, Honey will drop a little button down, and all you'll have to do is click Apply Coupons. Wait a few seconds as Honey searches the internet to find you codes for a particular website. Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, I went on one of my big old shopping websites and bought myself some guitar accessories and, I don't know, saved like $10. Just for no reason. Just because. Nice. Just because I could. And it was because of Honey. Jackson, you wanted to chime in there? Okay. Honey has found over 17 million members, over $2 billion
Jackson.
in savings.
I'll come in, Andrew. I bought a camera battery last week and I saved $4 on it,
There you go.
which was already like a third of the price of the battery, which was
Exactly.
really helpful.
There's going to be some naysayers out there that are like, oh, $4, who cares? Money adds up. And better counterpoint, it's totally free. You save money for absolutely nothing. Why would you not want to save $4? That's at least roughly 4 McChickens, depending on tax. It is literally free and installs in a few seconds. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing on free savings. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. I'd never recommend something I don't use, and I use Honey pretty much every day of my life. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/official. That's joinhoney.com/official.
There's no downside. It just works.
It's really not.
not?
It's the one I don't get. There is absolutely zero downside to using this service. Just fucking get it. Good Lord.
Is that
So
the
I wanted
official
to-
line of the official podcast? Just
Yeah,
fucking
Just
get
fucking
it.
get it.
Yeah, the official Honey podcast for as long as Honey's on screen. Yeah.
I wanted to circle back to Wings of Redemption. So when you were doing the Down the Rabbit Hole on Wings, it's a 2-hour video, so there was a lot that went into this. Did you go
There's a
to
lot,
his streams and watch live?
I did a little bit, but watching live did not really help terribly much, except to give me a feeling of where he was at the time, which is unfortunately a very different place from where he is now.
Do you think he's in a worse or better place now?
Much worse.
Much
Really?
worse.
Okay.
It only
Yeah,
ever
so-
gets worse, man. These people
so-
never improve.
For those, sometimes they do. It's a tragedy because
It is.
with Jordy, it seems like he's getting better and then things get worse. Sean Ranklin uploaded for the first time 3 weeks ago after how long?
probably-
Over a year ago.
Yeah, about a year ago.
Yeah,
'Cause
about a year ago.
Sean Ranklin
wow.
is the compilation
So-
poster, right? Of
Yeah.
yeah.
The big
So
one.
fill us in on the specifics
Jordy
here, because
freakouts.
from what I saw, maybe just like Opley checking in, he was kind of getting into the self-hate and like going along with it. But if something's different,
He got married and I
when did that happen?
It happened recently, but whenever he talks about his wife, apparently, and again, like I haven't looked into it a ton, but it seems like whenever he talks about his wife, it's more about the money she's making and how he's getting health insurance off of her. And the video that Sean Ranklin put up, which I literally watched this morning while I was waiting to join the podcast, it includes his wife telling him to like that they need to talk, and him just blowing her off as she cries.
Yeah, so that's why I brought it
God.
up. I saw that
It's
video
brutal.
when for some reason it was recommended to me out of nowhere within the hour that he posted it, and I've never really watched a lot of Wings of Redemption comps, but I saw that and it was fucking sad, man. Like, Fred's underselling it a bit. Like, it's pretty deplorable. He just like
I am. Yeah.
he straight blows her off. Like, and then like the rest of the stream, he's like, "I need money. You need to tip me, or I'm never touching this shit again." And his wife is just crying in the background. And then they're in the car together later, and he says the reason she was crying is because of the temperature in the air caused her eyes to water or
No,
something.
what he said was she'll cry because like he said the barometric pressure changed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's what he said.
He didn't use the right term, I
Some
think.
kind of atmospheric
well,
anomaly.
I don't know. I don't think any of us are
weather.
experts on barometric pressure to say that it wasn't true.
The point he's making is
Yeah.
what he's trying to say is she'll cry over anything. He's being completely dismissive of her. That's the point.
Yeah, it's so after seeing that, I decided to check on his stream, and I've tuned in a couple times now. It is probably one of the saddest fucking places on Twitch.
How many views does he get now, Charlie?
So the first time I tuned in, he was at 700, and the second time I think he was around 500. It depends on the game. Siege is usually his like least viewed one.
Yeah.
And I tuned in on a Siege night, and the first one I tuned into I think was COD. So
I thought
when
he
he
was under 100 with how
No.
people were talking
No,
about.
no,
I'm
when
sure
he-
that
when
you
he,
could still make decent money off 700.
When he does like just chatting or just kind of like takes the chat abuse, he gets up to like 800 regularly.
yeah, but it's I'd say he has maybe like 100 people that watch him that aren't there just to shit on him. Like the
Yeah.
whole chat is there to shit on him, and he just kind of takes it sadly and then asks them for money to keep insulting him. It was so hard to sit there and watch, and because he'll constantly bring up the money thing, and he's not shy about saying like he only streams for money and he hates everyone that watches him. He bans.
He said that for a long
Yeah,
time.
he bans people at even the slightest microaggression. Like if there's a grammar mistake that he takes personally, they get banned. He's banned his own mods. When I was there, he banned a mod because his mod was too slow to ban somebody. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is super sad.
Also, you can tell how emotionally like immature he is, where he'll be playing a game. Let's say he's playing COD, and if he's just playing or things are going all right, he'll just kind of ignore donations or just, I don't know, he'll be like, oh, ban this guy in the chat and move on. But if he's performing poorly in a game and getting frustrated, he'll look at the chat and be like, man, why haven't you banned that fucking guy yet? I swear, people don't know what they're doing. And it's like, good Lord, he's like a fucking 12-year-old.
Well, when that's been your career and your personal growth for like the last 10 or 15 years, there's not much, maturity that you could be expected to have.
I mean, he
feel.
said multiple times he'd be much happier with a normal 9-to-5 job, but he just can't take the plunge because he thinks he makes more money doing what he does now. I don't think he does. I don't think he's making a ton of donations or subs. I could be wrong. So I don't know why he doesn't just take the plunge and finally, for his own mental health, just stop streaming.
Well, this is a pattern that crops up with these sorts of internet personalities a lot. They are so steeped in whatever they're doing that they find it difficult to move away. They become addicted to it. Sometimes it's the attention. Sometimes it's the income. Because I think for streamers, especially, they become, especially when their livelihood depends on it, they become addicted to the hit of a donation. I think that it can be addictive if you don't approach streaming from a healthy perspective. And so that's how you get people that do things that are over the top or perhaps detrimental to themselves because they're not only looking for the money, they're looking for the dopamine hit of the donation or the subscription.
Well, I also think like in cases like this, he's had a taste of success in the past when Call of Duty was, massive and he was at the forefront of it.
Yeah.
Imagine being that successful in your life and everything going downhill from there. You're always constantly going to be chasing that success again.
happy.
I imagine it's very difficult to know that you've already peaked.
The human brain loves routine, no matter how destructive that routine is. So even for him, who's constantly berated and maybe making shitty money, there's a part of his brain that's like probably terrified going, oh God, a real job and having to apply for it and change my whole lifestyle and this and that. I can't do that. It's too much, even if he recognizes it or not. Yeah.
I like that. I like that all of these people are just terminally immune to advice and to doing things that are good for them and that they just dig their holes deeper and deeper and provide us with all of this content. It's nice, like, yeah, I can only think of one example, and Charlie, you know this person.
Him on that.
For Kaya's entertainment, it's great.
It is great. It is great because I'll give you an example of someone who took the internet's advice. Charlie, I don't know if you remember this person, Zinnia Jones, who's this creep who hates his wife, and his entire life revolves around putting things in his asshole and blowing his ass out. And like his thread used to move at like 3 pages a day. One day, finally stops tweeting. That's all he had to do. Finally stops fucking tweeting every perversion he gets himself into, and the thread fucking dies. It came to a fucking halt. And everyone's like, finally, thank God. Like maybe he started to lose weight and stop putting like tentacle dildos up his ass. Like, but we lose out on entertainment, I mean, it's good for them, but almost none of them take this advice. He's the only one I can think of the people that I follow who do. And the other ones, they're just, I don't know what it is that compels them. I honestly, all of these people, I want to put them in a brain scan and see what's wrong with their brains. Like, is there some neurological thing that compels them to tweet 50 times a day about everything?
I imagine it's an addiction.
Well, this
Yeah.
is this
It's a
is
literal
part
addiction.
of this is part of what's terrifying to me about the internet and the effect that it has on some people. And I've suffered from it partially as well. The way that, not necessarily in terms of social media, because my Twitter is like there are tumbleweeds rolling through it, but there is, like, for me, it's the feeling of constantly being connected and the expectation that I'm supposed to be connected. And after a while, for some people, the internet creates these addictions because it's hard to remember sometimes that the internet is a series of crafted experiences. So when you go on a social media website, it is crafted in a way that is designed to keep you scrolling and keep you posting. And for some people, it has an effect on them that is more extreme than others or is more particular in others. And when someone gets addicted to posting, they will just keep posting over and over again. And this is by design. Yeah. And this is sort of a realm of the human psyche that hasn't been well understood because it's just people doing things that seem to work for the website. And it's having, there's a word for this that I always end up forgetting. It's emergent. There are emergent properties that we do not yet understand, but we are experiencing.
Did Kaya say stupid then as a word that Fredrik may have forgotten? You think this man would have forgotten the word stupid?
No, I think that's a word for it. Like a sane person. Like if I went on fucking Twitter and tweeted like, I don't know, like if I acted like the Slayton sisters and tweeted about how I eat 35,000 calories a day and people made fun of me, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that again. People made fun of me. That was bad.
Well, this is the thing, right?
They don't have that part. They don't have that if-else like conditional statement running in their brains, that algorithm that comes naturally to the rest of us of, I don't want to be made fun of on the internet. They just keep going.
Right.
They lean into
these these websites, however, are casting their net wide. It's very similar to a cult. A cult may look like a cult to the vast majority of people who see it, but those aren't the people who can recognize they're a cult aren't the people that they're targeting. They're targeting the vulnerable people. They're targeting the people that they can get to. In the social media does the same thing. They're like the majority of people like you will recognize it for what it is, but there are some people who won't. And social media, I think, has a much broader appeal than cults, and so in some ways is more dangerous.
Yeah. It's all probability games. If you throw out something that goes to hundreds of thousands of people, getting 3 or 4 is all you need.
Right. It's okay if some swim through the holes in the net. You're not looking to catch every single fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think just the attention is addictive to people that maybe don't get it in the real world, which is why you're going to see so many people with like the dumbest fucking takes in the world on Twitter, because it gets people to like see them. You get engagement, even if it's overwhelmingly negative.
Yeah. And not only that, you'll get some people that agree with you and go, yeah, he's right. And then you just circle jerk inside of that community and it just builds and builds.
Right. It's these communities have a way of dominating these people's lives. Not universally, but there are some people who just become very intensely focused.
Is this all too much for you? Do you need to sit down?
No, not. This is like my favorite topic, you guys. This is why I'm so giddy. Like I'm thinking about all the people that we're talking about and just their lives, and it's fucking hysterical. Like there's people to this day sending Chris Chan messages asking him if they can make a Sunichu game. Like this person exists. You can't write this shit. Like,
the internet is solely responsible for making a lot of these people relevant and interesting.
I don't know. Are we going to talk about how Reddit is now run by pedophiles? And it's still
no, because we're going to talk about how we need a VPN. Isn't that right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You should use it when you go on Reddit, by the way.
You should use it for every goddamn website, because internet service providers like Comcast or Verizon know every single website you visit. Now, some of you out there who aren't tech savvy, or maybe you're just ambivalent, you go, whatever, they can take all my websites, they can take all my history, I don't care. But did you know that ISPs can sell this information to ad companies and tech giants who will then use your data to target you? That's fucking annoying. Good thing that ExpressVPN creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet, so your online activity can't be seen by anybody. It's as easy as closing the bathroom door for a little known privacy. Just fire up the app and click one button. Works on your phone, your laptop, even your router. So anyone who's sharing your Wi-Fi can be protected. I mean, I've got it all set up at my house. I got a little hub set up. Helps me do internet things. ExpressVPN's on there. You want to come over? You want to connect to my Wi-Fi? I'll give you the password. Not everyone, so my neighbors can't steal it, but you. And you out there listening at home, you can have your internet data protected. Or instead of flying all the way to where I live, you can download it for yourself and try it and see how well it works. Secure your
Andrew.
online activity by visiting expressvpn.com/official today. That's expressvpn.com/official and get an extra 3 months for free. expressvpn.com/official, 3 months for free. Why are you letting people spy on you when you don't have to?
Nice.
Anyway.
Love ExpressVPN.
Right. So we were talking about these odd individuals, and there's a term that I've coined for it that it's not like this term is being used by anyone else, but I tend to describe it as person as phenomenon. In that people are not looking at the person themselves, and in fact, the person is immaterial. It's what they do and what enjoyment can be extracted from them. The person themselves is a phenomenon, and in fact, the community that builds around these people is inextricable from them. Therefore, like, making them a part of the phenomenon. So people are there, like, maybe about this person, like originally, like they're interested in this person, but what really pulls them in is the phenomenon of them.
I think a big related part of it too is also they enjoy the feeling of kind of taking it down or like aiding in its destruction, because most of these, especially the ones that are the most popular, used to be loved and have a big community.
Right.
Like Wings was a really big dude in Call of Duty. DSP started in Call of Duty. One that you talked about as well, Spoonie, had a bunch of videos and a popular channel and a really devoted audience. And like, yeah, there are the ones that people laugh at that are just odd and weird from the get-go. But most of them had an endearing audience to begin with. Ones that supported them and loved what they wanted to do. Boogie's another big example.
Yeah, massive.
Well, I mean, hey, even though he was playing a
lol cow.
Even though he was playing a character that people laughed at, people enjoed his comedy videos and thought they were
No,
funny.
he was often often known as the who's that Rogers guy? That everyone
Mr.
loves.
Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go
Mr.
that
Ro-
far.
yeah,
Nobody ever called
at him as
Boogie
Mr. Rogers
of
as fucking
gamers.
Boogie?
He was known
wait,
as the Mr.
wait,
Rogers
yeah,
of the internet.
He was.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
Absolutely,
People
yeah.
called him that. Yes.
What the fuck is
fucking
wrong with the
way.
internet? Jesus.
No
Christ.
way.
Are you guys not?
My
Are you
mind
guys
is
not
blown.
familiar with?
Hold up.
Wait.
Okay,
in his early
explain this.
content, in his early
Jackson's
content,
our
he
resident
came
boogie
across as-
expert. Let him explain.
Let me fucking talk then, Jesus. In his early days of
Jackson,
content,
can you just please explain it already?
Before the divorce, he was often a man of sage advice and counsel to his audience. So he often gave off like a Jolly Santa vibe in his videos. Most of his videos weren't entirely like his outrage videos where he plays Francis. A lot of them were just advice videos or stories about his life. And I think a lot of them were, in hindsight, perhaps manipulation on his part, because I think he
Fake
was
wholesome.
playing more of a character. Yeah, playing more of a character there than he was when he was playing Francis. Yeah.
I would like to read one of his very old posts that Jackson sent me the other day. I'm having to scroll past like 2 days worth of us talking about the Reddit pedophile. But so this is from, what year is this from, Jackson? 2007. This is from Boogie. And this is him trying to be like edgy on some website called Evil Square. What the fuck is Evil Square?
I want to
Jackson?
clarify. Wait, I want to clarify.
Do you
that
wanna read
this, I sent this. No, I sent this post to Kaya. It's about Boogie had like he was like a webmaster. He made sites back in the day. This was before YouTube. So this was before he was putting on the Mr. Rogers persona that he was then known for.
Okay, so this is his website, and he says in November 11th, 2007, this here's the first post on evilsquared.com. We're bad people. We're really bad people. We're racist, classist, sexist fuckfaces. One time I saw you getting mugged because I was the one that was mugging you. I took turns raping your favorite thing, especially if it was a baby. Babies. I use offensive words quite often. I'm going to use one now. Booby. I use worse. I used to take turns...
Actually, a banger.
This is trying to be like ironic.
I knew that was gonna get you.
I use worse. I used to take turns fucking new holes into corpses. Now I just fuck the ones that are already there because I'm lazy. I'm also into tea ceremony.
This has all the energy of a Terry Davis rant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also sounds like a 14-year-old trying to make the edgy.
That's exactly what it is. It's a man trying to be edgy for internet points.
It's
Again,
not even.
This
It's
was
like
before.
self-aware. I'm gonna try to be edgy, but in a childish way, where I pretend that the word "booby" is edgy, like XD, lol, random humor edgy.
Right.
What the fuck are you doing?
I think that Boogie is a really good example of some of the problems that arise when someone builds a community around their personality, especially when that personality is a construct. I think that the people who build a community, or like a community is maybe the wrong term, a career around their personality, and that personality that they are presenting is at least mostly true to themselves, then they can manage it. Although it can be exhausting. I could never do it. I don't know how you do it, Charlie. More power to you. I could never do what you do. But for some people, they craft a version of themselves, but then and then they build a career out of that. But that becomes exhausting because when there is so much time looking at you and your immediate thoughts, there are going to be parts of you that do not fit in with that personality that slip through. And there are some people who can handle that. Maybe they can change their content, or they just retreat. They call it quits after a while. But there are people like Boogie who implode.
Yeah,
I think Boogie would have never.
At this point, I don't even think he knows which character he has created is closest to his actual personality. I think it's all too much for one man to handle. It's
I
like
think
I really
if
don't.
Boogie never had, if he never had Twitter, Boogie would still be the Mr. Rogers of the internet.
Yes.
Twitter single-handedly ruined
It's their
him.
fucking Twitter. No, Charlie is right. These people, all
It's
they need
his
to
Twitter,
do, like I mentioned in that one
100%.
example, just fucking, the second you shut down your Twitter, you all of you fucking creepos on the internet who cry about harassment and doxing and people bullying you, supposedly,
This is
delete your fucking Twitter.
disingenuous. No,
It's
No,
not
it's
not even
any-
that specific. It's just he needs to shut the fuck up. Like he
wait,
needs to stop talking and get away from the internet. That's
it's
it.
anywhere where he's not able to edit his thoughts
Right.
or edit his videos or stuff. It's the exact same on his Twitch. He's the exact same person as he
Oh, I
is on
forgot he
Twitter
had
on his
Twitch.
Twitch.
Yeah, I forgot he had a
It's
Twitch.
maddening
Yeah.
because ostensibly,
Yeah,
like you can look at your post before you post on Twitter. You can edit it. You can change it. I don't know how many times I've deleted a tweet and then tweeted it again because I made a typo. But Twitter's interface is actively designed to prevent you from doing this. And this, I believe, is why they refuse to implement an edit button, because they're trying to create an air of immediacy. There's always like, what is it? Isn't there a phrase in that text box that says, like, what's on your mind? Right? It is encouraging you to spontaneously speak to your audience. And once it is out there on the internet, especially if you have attention on you like Boogie, you can't put that back.
I've said it before on episodes when we talked about it, and I still really stand by it, as well as most other creators who like talk themselves into getting into deeper shit. They just need to shut up. they have this compulsive need to put stuff out there and have people react and like defend themselves and clarify and go, oh, that specific line of paragraph 6 where I said this phrase, I didn't mean that phrase. What I meant is this. Just shut up. Just like stop talking on the internet for a week and you'll look so much better. That's it.
Don't fucking upload a photo of yourself with a gigantic tentacle dildo in your ass and your meal that is 35,000 calories and people will immediately stop bullying you. It's that easy, but you do it. You bring it upon yourself.
Boogie, I think Jackson would agree with this. With Boogie in particular, he has this compulsive desire to give his take on everything, even when it's never asked of him. And nothing is usually ever asked of him, but he will always chime in to give his take.
He will always chime in. And the funniest part is... The weirdest part of it all is that Andrew. I don't think Boogie has any actual like beliefs or politics. He just chimes in for the sake of it.
He parrots whatever he thinks at the time is the correct thing to say.
Yeah. I will agree with that.
All he ever does.
That does seem to be the case at the very least.
And then he usually apologizes when one person says they disagree. He's like, "I'm so sorry, I missed the mark on this one. It's just what I believe and." You know, I'm going to hurt some feelings.
Then he gets shit over that. Then he gets shit over having...
Yeah, right.
He course corrects to such an extreme where now he's alienated the people that he originally sided with.
So, Fredrik, when's the Down the Rabbit Hole on Boogie coming?
I haven't ruled it out.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Nah, he's boring. If you need recommendations, I'm an expert on that fucking...
I doubt he needs recommendations.
My problem, I have plenty of ideas. In fact, like the one I'm doing after the one I'm about to finish is probably going to be massive if I do end up going with it. My problem isn't necessarily that I don't want to cover topics like Boogie, but part of the problem is my composer is terribly bored by these people. And so I want to give him topics that allow him to really stretch his legs because the music that he makes for Down the Rabbit Hole is incredible. And I want to empower him. Yeah. But also I just have so many other interesting things that I want to cover that are oftentimes more ridiculous or just personally more interesting to me.
You're speaking of Ryan Probert, right?
Yes, Ryan Probert.
Yeah, we can go ahead and give him a little shout out on the show. He does make very good music.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Ryan, may I recommend circus music if you ever do Boogie?
Oh God!
Just put it on loop like ba 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 da 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 da. What a fucking fat retard.
Oof. No, Ryan Probert is incredible. His music is amazing. He wrote a song and I co-authored the lyrics with him. For the credits music. It's we also use a lot of live instrumentation now for the music. And in fact, he is getting the violin parts from a violinist that he knows and is excellent. He's gotten some of it already and has shown it to me in the context of the music. And it is incredible. He is absolutely, I think he's helped take Down the Rabbit Hole up. He has elevated it.
Yeah, it really adds to it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I'm very proud of my little team. I also have my graphic designer, Ark Axon, who he's done a lot of random things. He did the diagrams for the Call of Duty duel between Wings of Redemption and Syndicate. He did all of the chess diagrams. He designed a custom chess set. Although I did make the chessboard sound effects, those are custom. I did those myself. But he is also doing a ton of work for this new video, which is almost obscenely complicated. And so he's got a lot of work cut out for him. But yeah, like my little team is Ryan Probert and Ark Axon. It's wonderful. It's really nice having a team who can help me tackle topics visually and orally that I otherwise wouldn't be able to.
Man, I'm really excited to see this new video now, man. Yeah. God damn.
It is intense. It is so complicated. I'm sorry. I'm going to freak out for a second because it is I have labored over this so hard because I had to use like the only good sources I had for this were a couple of out of print books, and they outline the story in such an absurdly like roundabout and convoluted way that trying to put together a linear sequence of events was a nightmare. It doesn't help that there were 19 individual entities, many of them with numbers for names, all moving about and doing their own thing constantly, and these people couldn't just give me a nice simple through line. No, I had to pick it apart and piece everything together.
What is it?
Yeah,
I'm not going to spoil it.
Little teaser hints, like initials.
Oh,
Well,
No.
when does it
Is
come
it the
out?
Bloody
Too much.
Benders? Okay, fine.
no, I will confirm nor deny.
It's Boogie.
What did? Yeah, I numbered each one of his shirts.
Each one of his fucking folds, yeah.
Yeah.
Lobes.
Well, when are you expecting this video to come out? Do you have a rough date?
It'll
Ballpark?
probably be 2 or 3 more weeks. Because
that's not bad.
after I'm recording the final narration tomorrow. And then I'm going to be cutting it together so that Ryan has already put a bunch of the music together, like rough drafts of the music. And then after the final narration is complete, he's going to time the music specifically with my narration. That's why the music rises and falls so well with my voice, is because he tailors it to the narration. I cannot sing his praises enough. He's incredible. But also,
Can't wait now.
then the graphic design needs to be done. Although a lot of the graphic design has already been done, now just the animations need to be done. So while that gets complete, I have a couple of other things I can do, and I can prepare for the video after this one.
Fuck yeah.
Sorry,
Nice.
I'm very
excited to see it.
involved.
No.
I'm very.
Oh, there's nothing
How
to
dare you.
apologize for.
You're clearly excited and passionate about your
I
work.
love my
It's
job.
really,
Like, can I just say that I love my job? I
it sounds
I
like
get
it.
to look at weird things and write for a living. Because I have an English degree with a writing minor, and so I get to I love writing and literature. I get to write these scripts. I get to take these complicated things and dissect them and put them together in a digestible way, and then I get to share this with millions of people. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
is fucking
excitement for
awesome.
talking about Boogie.
Ooh, one more question then. One more question on that video, and then we could steer away from trying to get you to reveal it. Is it a very well-known topic,
No.
or is this more of an obscure
No,
one?
this is so obscure that it was purposefully hidden from the public for decades.
Whoa.
Ooh, shit. Okay.
Is it
Be
the Epstein
careful, you
case?
might have given
You've
something
uncovered,
away.
like,
I'm
uncovered
okay
aliens
with
or
that.
something.
Area
There's your
51.
scoop. There's your scoop.
Is it Reddit being run by pedophiles?
That just happened, bro. I don't think he made this video for
It's been around for 30
I
years.
saw this coming.
Who knows? Maybe he works fast. Don't
You could have
insult him,
stopped
man.
it, Fred.
Yeah, you could have stopped him, Fred.
No, I am an outsider. I am a proper documentarian that never interferes. If I see a dying seal, I leave it on the ice.
Wow, Boogie's career wrapped up in one sentence.
Oh my god.
No, more like a beached whale.
Andrew's going for the
I
throat.
know, I'm being mean.
Something really must have happened between Andrew and Boogie recently.
I was reminded of him. That was enough.
You should do.
of
I mean,
all-
like, Boogie is obviously not deserving of a deep dive or anything. Like, but maybe you could do like mini-sodes, you know, like little bite-sized chunks for people who are kind of
Well, I
goofy,
kind of-
but not
it's
really
gonna be
worth
something
the
that's already
effort.
do
something
that.
he's passionate
I
about.
kind of already
he
do
does that
that.
with Jabroni Mike.
Yeah, I have a podcast called The Warrens, which I do very infrequently with him. But we have covered a couple of odd, funny little things. So far, we have an episode on semenology, which is
Oh, I love semenology.
yeah,
Yes.
it's a mixology book where all but one of the recipes include cum. And that
And you can get a
Perfect.
signed copy for $100, by the way.
oh hell yeah!
I don't know if you can like
Signed by who?
the author.
Seaman.
I forget his name.
Paul Fautier. That's his name,
Okay.
I believe. Last name is Paul Fotenhauer. That's his name. I'm sorry, I messed up the name at first.
Paul Fotenhauer. That's like a name I would have made up as a child.
It's like a King of the Hill character.
But Fody, though, you're just thinking of Boomhauer. Fody is his nickname.
Yeah, I am.
Paul Fotenhauer. The worst part about the book is it comes with full color, high quality images of the drinks.
Oh my god.
So they actually like.
I mean, there's like
Yeah,
this
he
is
actually jizzed in his drinks.
yes, this is a subculture on YouTube. I don't know, Fred, if you like went into I'm sure you did. Like YouTube is full of videos of people blending their cum. There's like this one vegan lady who's sharing. Yeah, there's videos on YouTube of people making these cum cocktails, and there's like this one woman claiming that cum will protect you from COVID, which I tell all the women I've been with, you know, that's obviously science. It's based in truth.
It gives you the proteins to keep your immune system strong.
Right? Like she makes these videos talking about how, yes, my friend provided the semen for this video, and now
In fact,
I will
it was his
share with
idea. What a
you the
good
way to
friend.
turn this into pudding. Like, your friend is. I mean, he's got a good gig going, I guess. Like, if it just fucking jizzes on your face and tells you it's for your health, like, all right.
But wait, is that actually a good gig to have?
No.
It doesn't sound like he's actually jizzing on her face. He's just a cum manufacturing plant.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
that
better than just
offloads his cum
jerking
to her.
off and letting the cum sit in
Right.
a tissue.
No,
You
it's
can
that's
sell it.
so much work.
At that point, it's just like the music video that you helped make, Charlie, like where you're just being harvested for your semen.
Yeah, but in a less painful
Well, it's just extra
way.
work. After jerking off, you're just jerking off into like a glass or something, and then you've got to like keep it fresh for her.
No, you
Fuck
don't.
that.
You can just give it
but
to
I
her
mean-
next time you see her. Like, that's not hard.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You can be like, oh, I forgot to milk myself. Do you have a shot glass? I'll do it now. Like, okay. It's not bad work or like tedious effort that he's putting into this. That guy's a pretty comfy job in my opinion. He has to jerk off once in a while when she has to make a video. Like, I don't know.
I don't know either. This is
exist.
horrifying.
They exist. I love the internet in this way. Like, it has allowed these people to exist, and it's fascinating.
It is pretty fucking fascinating. I found the channel. I'm looking at it now. Yeah.
I guess like the reason that
did you
I'm
find it?
disinclined to make videos about people like Boogie and Wings and DSP in the future is because I've already made the videos talking about this sort of interaction. Like at some point it becomes repetitive where it's just the same story playing out over and over again with new faces and new names.
Yeah, I think the only thing that
beautiful.
separates something like Darkside Phil and Wings of Redemption is not so much the overarching idea that you've touched on, like the illness they both clearly suffer from, but more just like how they got there and the journey they took and all that. I think that's what makes it interesting, is just their personal history.
Right.
And I will say, I think the thing that's so interesting to me regarding Boogie is it was such a massive fall from grace, since, like I said, he was the Mr. Rogers of the internet. He won a fucking game award.
Right.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Jeff
Oh
Keighley.
my God, I forgot all about that.
Gamer of the Year 2014.
Holy
And
dick.
it was just such a drastic downfall after he stopped being able to hide who he really is, I guess. I don't know. It's just interesting that
No, he wants
me
to be a pimp.
how drastic it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's got a big following on TikTok now. I mean, he's up and coming. This could be the second coming of Boogie's popularity. He's found a very successful shtick on TikTok where he'll make a video that always ends with, and then I ate some children or something like that. Or then,
Yeah, it's interesting. He's almost
Yeah.
going back to his 2007 roots
Yeah.
on TikTok. I've noticed
well-
he's doing that more edgy comedy where he did a TikTok that he posted to his Twitter. That's the only way I saw it. I don't follow him on TikTok at all. But he posted on Twitter where he was talking about how he would visit strip clubs and spit chocolate on the strippers, and whoever got the most chocolate on them, whichever stripper got the most chocolate on them, he'd take them home, and then the punchline to the story would be that he eats them.
No, you're thinking it was worse than that. The punchline was that he rapes and kills them.
What?
I don't remember any rape.
Yeah.
I think you might be.
No,
Jesus.
one of his
sure.
I'd
It
like
was
to point
fucking
out
weird.
that I wasn't laughing about Boogie making the TikToks. I was laughing at an edit that has Kaya running over Boogie with the killdozer.
That's Jackson. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's
Jackson, sorry, not Kaya Jackson. I mean, listen, you're all the same to me.
I'm the greasy Middle Eastern dude. Get it right.
That's
Yeah,
what I
little
need to
bitch.
remember. I see.
I love someone posted a new edit in our Discord of our 2018 Comic-Con panel, but with Boogie in the center. And we're all sitting around laughing. I
It's
love
like
it. That
I love
actually
how-
happened.
How low effort all his edits are. Like the lighting never matches.
Yeah, this is like thrown together during the show.
I still love it. I still appreciate it. Thank you.
It is cute.
To everyone. This is why you should
Kaya?
become a fucking patron.
So question: do I need to be apologizing to Kaya or Jackson here?
Who knows?
Both
I
of
think-
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Equally. Yeah, Boogie's going through a cycle, man. He's going back to that
And-
2007 edginess.
And this I think is a pattern among a lot of these internet figures, right? Chris Chan does this. Spoonie seems to be in the dark night of the soul at this point. Is that the right term? Am I using that term correctly? I hope so.
The Dark Knight Soul.
The dark night of the soul.
I don't know. Never heard.
But it's the same with Boogie and DSP and Wings. They go through these cycles where they start to maybe improve themselves and get better, but at some point they are still dependent upon this community,
There's
whether
still-
for emotional attention, right? Like emotional support in terms of getting attention, or monetarily. It's where it gets monetary that things really start to get ugly, I think.
Boogie could have bettered himself very easily over the last few years by just not constantly putting his mouth in his. He's actually made it worse for himself
I'll also
financially, definitely.
say that part of the fun is when they like claim that they're gonna start bettering themselves, and all of us know, oh, this is gonna go downhill real fast. That's the funny part too, because Boogie, Jackson will probably know more about this, but Boogie is now on a fast, you guys. You may not have heard, he's gonna drop those pounds, he's gonna get rid of his 17 chins. He said that he's on a water fast, and like literally 20 hours into his fast, he admitted that he has an emergency turkey in his fridge that he might have to snack on because he was getting heart palpitations from not eating.
Emergency
Food addiction's
turkey.
real.
Just the phrase emergency turkey is glorious.
In his defense, though, turkey is quite literally the healthiest emergency food you could have.
Yeah, I guess so.
It wasn't turkey, it was chicken.
All right.
Oh,
so-
sorry. Emergency chicken in his fridge just in case, like break glass in case of emergency. Like if your tummy hurts from not eating for half an hour, break it and put the chicken tendies in your mouth and sleep.
Dieting at that point isn't easy, and food addiction is real and all that stuff, but it is annoying having Boogie act as though he's like, I don't know, like he's
Look,
the
on
sole
one
arbiter
hand,
of
This is something that fascinates me.
Fixing yourself.
And I'm sorry. You go ahead. I'm interrupting.
No, I was just going to say,
you go.
I'd rather have you say it. Go ahead.
Okay. I guess this is one of the parts of internet culture that has weirded me out the most. There are people who end up creating content around their weight loss, or their weight loss becomes a core part of their content, if not like a peripheral part. And then when they fail to lose the weight or they fail their diet, the viewers take that, like the viewers, right? The community, whatever community they've crafted, take it as a personal slight. Like you have not just failed yourself, you have failed us too. And because they have made the weight loss a part of their content, and it's surreal to me, because like maybe you're there for the journey and you want to see the person lose the weight, but then there's an anger response. Like there's rage when these people fail their diets, which is exceedingly common. And I'd say the default way for a diet to end for most people. So what is it that makes people so enraged when they fail a diet?
Well, because they feel like they're being lied to. I assume.
I'd have to assume so, because but that's not how diets work. It's not like the person lied. The person usually wants to lose the weight, but then you also end up with a problem where if the weight loss itself is the content, then if they lose the weight, the content's gone. And if they've come to rely on their channel monetarily, then they have a vested interest in not losing the weight and dragging it out for as long as possible.
I think it's even more surface level though. I think it's people, like you see it all the time with Minecrafters, where they become overwhelmingly invested in their life to the point where it's vicariously living through them, right?
Yes.
So when he fails a weight loss, the people that genuinely support him feel heartbroken because it's like, well, they also failed. So like the failure kind of goes onto his audience as well, because there's so many people, even in Boogie's community, that worship him.
Right.
So when it doesn't work out, they feel like they've also lost.
Right.
I've definitely noticed by reading comments, there's a lot of people in Boogie's comments, YouTube or Twitter, who are overweight people who are using him as a source of inspiration for weight loss. So you could be correct in that. Yeah,
I
think he definitely inspires me to work out. I mean, shit. The one thing, like, Fred, I love you, and all of you guys who do this work, all the tedious work of documenting these people and making it entertaining for us, like taking a 7,000 page thread and making it, putting it in an entertaining to watch video. But like, you guys missed out on the chance of what channels like TLC do, who have, I don't know, like they have a bigger budget and less ethics, I guess, because they will swoop up these people like the Slayton sisters, who are these, one of them is literally 750 pounds, and they will just give them a show and milk them for the money that it generates. It just got renewed for a 3rd season. Like,
I'd like to think I'm above that.
Yeah, I would think you are as well, Fred.
I do not mean to, parade myself around as a like bastion of human decency, but I can at least be better than that.
Yeah, it's deplorable. A lot of TLC shows are just exploitative. It's literally taking people that are unwell and turning it into like a comedy show about them. It's terrible.
I have very strong opinions.
The only way that TLC gets away with that is that the people they document, they are so unlikable. They are such shitty
that's
people.
The thing.
Usually.
It's not even always that case, because the way they edit and present the TV show, they might be normal people who have bad days.
No. Like half the people that they fucking document. I mean, for example, the Slayton sisters. Again, TLC found that show from the Kiwi Farms. They've had a thread for like 4 years. They've been on YouTube for like a decade. They are actually really shitty people. They're really shitty fucking people. Those two. That's why people don't feel bad for them when like, but. TLC is very unethical, and like I keep harping on this, but I just can't get over it. Like Tammy Slayton gained 50 pounds in a month. She's immobile, you guys. She cannot do her own shopping. That means somebody else had to shop all the fucking Twinkies and shit and the pizzas, and they had to bring them to her feet and feed her. And I don't know who's doing that legwork, because she's not. It has to, like, I wonder if TLC is doing this behind the scenes.
I think that there is a trap here that always seems to permeate shows like this. The trap is, this is a horrible person, therefore they deserve the negative filmmaking. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is that the editing is purposefully deceptive. They are filming an ostensibly a reality show, but they are creating a fiction around that reality. So even if the person is terrible, the reality that is being constructed through the show is still not accurate to who they are. Because maybe the creator of the show sold the show to a producer to be a certain way, and now they are constrained to craft a show that reflects this. That, like, even beyond considering whether the person is terrible or not, that is reprehensible to me.
it could even exacerbate all of the problems of it. If they come up and say, hey, we've got this show, it's about these two overweight sisters that are bad people, then as the show goes on, the fucking producer's going to be like, bring them more pizza. This shot, it doesn't have them eating enough. That's what the people like. Oh, you should scream more. That's what the show wants. Right. It's going to make it worse.
There used to be a lawsuit here in Germany where I live. We have our own, German version of these trashy channels, and one family actually sued one of those TV channels. They said, it was a German spin-off of those I don't know what you Americans call it, wife swap, I think, where the wife goes to another family. And they were like, dude, the film crew fucking lied to us. They said that the film crew literally shit up the house. They would dump trash everywhere on their cigarette ashes, and then they would film it as if we had done that. And they sued the fucking TV station.
Yeah.
And
reality shows are not real.
From some of the people who've been on 600 Pound Life, they've disclosed somebody broke their NDA agreement at some point to say that TLC, for example, will pay them an extra $500 if they agree to do a naked shower scene.
Reality shows are
not laughed at.
Reality shows are completely and utterly faked. I'll give you another great example that blows my mind. You know those house shows where they go house hunting? Where they're like Jay and Dana are looking for a home. They have option A, the colonial, option B, the continental, or option C, the 2-story, blah, blah, blah. Fun fact, 95% of the people on those shows have already bought the house. The other two are just there to make a TV show. They've already made their purchase and decision.
Right.
It's all fake. It's all completely crafted for a story.
It's not just fake, though. It's 50% faked and 50% they actually found a sad motherfucker. 90 Day Fiancé. Those people are real. And they are genuine medical morons. They are measurably, objectively stupid people who are getting scammed by cam whores in Lebanon, to whom they sent their fucking liquidated 401k, and the camera crew just sticks a camera in that guy's face. Oh, so you sent this cam whore $800 every week, huh? Fascinating. Why don't you talk about it? It's like this.
Right. It's an evolution of the circus sideshow, except it's even more profitable because it's even more popular and they don't have to pay the person a wage.
Yeah. Rather than talking to a fucking film crew, they should be talking to a therapist.
And the person, this is all legal. They are consenting to be filmed to do this, but they're clearly unaware of how stupid they are. They're clearly
how it makes them look.
You're right. Mm-hmm. They're I don't want to I don't know the legalities of this, but you could almost argue that they're just too stupid to even give consent. Dude, they are only filming you because you're so fucking dumb.
Right. And the core, I think the core of what you're getting at is it's predatory.
Yes.
Manipulates really vulnerable people.
Mm-hmm. And I guess when I talk about people like Darkside Film, Wings of Redemption, I'm not there because I'm trying to make them into circus sideshows, and I hope that that's not the impression that anyone.
No, that's never been the impression that I've received from your work.
I'm really glad, because I'm again interested in the concept of person as phenomenon. I'm not looking to make a mockery of them. I'm trying to understand their existence and their relationship with the internet.
Understand their existence. I mean, that distills it. That is a good description.
What is interesting to me is the internet. I'm not trying to exploit them. And I know that it's hard to argue that when I am, making videos with their names as the title, but I hope that anyone who watches what I make can recognize what I'm trying to do with it. And I hope it comes across.
I don't think anyone gets confused on the internet.
No, there's a big difference between
definitely. There's
a big difference between exploiting it and using it for gain and being a documentarian of it.
You definitely have a pretty unbiased or unmotivated way of doing it, where it doesn't seem like you're coming at it from an aggressive angle.
Like if you made your fucking Wings video and you were like, look at this fat fuck and look at this new pathetic thing he's doing, then it'd be something.
Basically, if you did it anyway how Kaya would do it, yes.
I don't do anything, okay? Don't throw me under the bus, motherfucker. I don't do anything. I just read.
No.
I'm innocent.
Yeah, I'm saying if you were to make the video, though,
That's why
it,
you
it
do.
would,
look,
it would probably be an aggressive way of doing it.
I'm just saying, like, a lot of these people, I just don't know how to put this, but I'll just say this, like, every person that I've ever read a thread on Kiwi Farms deserved to have a thread. None of them were innocents. Like, all of the people I've ever read about on that site were terrible, shitty fucking people, and not because people make them look that way by deceptively commenting or editing, like, by their own words. All Kiwi Farms does, by the way, like, it gets maligned as a site a lot, but all they do is archive shit. It's these people's own Twitter accounts, own whatever, in Boogie's case, like his own websites that they archive, and that's it. They just save what people say, and they're all a bunch of fucking douchebags.
Okay,
which is why
you're being slightly disingenuous there. That's
No, I'm
not all
not.
they do. I've seen plenty of comments on Kiwi Farms where they do manipulate things or
What
put
do you mean
them out of
manipulate?
context.
Kaya, you're
What do you
saying
mean?
all they do is present the information. I'm on Kiwi
Yeah,
Farms
that's
right
not-
now, and their headline for DSP is DSP is a notoriously awful Let's Player who built an empire of failure on a permanently sinking ship. That's not unbiased at all.
That
Right.
is a
that's
crazy title, though.
editorializing, but that is accurate. That is accurate. They are honest. What I mean is they don't do the fucking journalist thing where they take, like, I don't know, where they don't. There's nothing to lie about because they don't have to. They literally just archive the fucking tweet on a third party, unaffiliated, like archive.is. They just archive the tweet and then they make fun of it. That's all. That's why I don't feel bad for these people, because it's all of their own words. They describe themselves. It's never anyone pinning shit on them that they didn't themselves admit publicly. Like in the case of that Reddit pedophile who has decades-long history of this is all public information. These are all public documents that Kiwi Farm just fucking compiles in an archive. That's it. They don't make shit up.
Okay, counterpoint. I definitely saw in the Adam Kovic thread, the man from Funhouse whose dick pics and asshole pictures got leaked
To Jackson's hard drive.
I definitely saw comments just because he was outed in the same leak that outed another, like a different person as being a pedophile or, you know, what do you call him? A groomer.
Which one was?
Ryan,
talking
That
about
was Ryan,
Evidan
that was
or
Ryan
Kovic?
Haywood. No,
Jesus, what?
I'm
Who's
talking about
Haywood?
Kovic and Haywood. Haywood is the groomer, the groomer.
We
from
talked about
Brewster
this like
Teeth,
2
who-
weeks ago, Kaya. Remember we were talking about how Adam
Yeah, but
kinda
there's
got
like
fucked
three
by
of
being...
three names. I know. Fuck. Okay, I know Dan Avidan and I know Adam Kovic. I don't know who Haywood is
Just forget
anymore.
about Avidan. That's not relevant at
that's
the
not
moment.
the one.
Haywood and Kovic were both from Brewster Teeth, and they both had pictures leak at the same time. Haywood on one hand was grooming underage individuals allegedly. Well, I'm pretty sure it's pretty much confirmed at this point that he was. And then Kovic on the other hand was just what do you call it? Like he was just having salacious interactions with an of-age person. He just got catfished essentially. But because his nudes were leaked in the same kind of situation as Haywood, nearly everyone I saw on Kiwi Farms, at least at the beginning, was labeling him as a child sex offender as well. And not just Kiwi Farms, of course, the internet as a whole did, even though there was no evidence to suggest that that was the case. Not even in the original leak did they make that claim.
And this touches on something that I find really interesting, is something that I personally have had to come to terms with is the internet flattens things. It flattens everything. When someone looks at a post or a photograph from a decade ago, it is just, in the mind of the person looking at it, it is just as current as a post that is made yesterday or an hour ago. It all is experienced in the exact same way. And so it all becomes a flat picture of a person. So there is no change, there is no growth. Even if a person looks different in a picture, it's still them, and it is still being experienced as a flat part of their life. And oftentimes that flattening, because things also can be taken from their contexts or they can be taken out of their time, that it removes some of the complexity and gets flattened out even further. So when you take information like this, right, it's like, oh, two scandals happened at the same time. Those two get flattened together, and it becomes difficult to extricate one from the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, the timing matters a lot with these. It's almost like coordinated where
it almost seems that way.
You catch a genuine to God groomer, as Jackson said, in one, like, I don't know, YouTube channel gang, and then another one who's not grooming people, and then you lump them together. That does happen a lot on the fucking internet, and just people are like, oh, Game Grumps and the Rooster Teeth people both got caught. Okay, but like in two wildly and radically different contexts and scenarios. Like one of these crimes, one of these is not even a crime.
With these specific things, it's so evil to not look at these with the nuance they deserve.
Right.
Like just to flatten them down to the core elements and present it as just because the news is being released at the same time that they're both guilty of the same crimes is just ridiculous.
But this is an emergent property of the internet. This is how the internet works, and this is how you get lolcows. Where just the way that you interface with the internet on a fundamental level creates these things. And we, as a society, and I know society lol, are trying to understand how that works and how we interface with it.
I hate that we can't say that word anymore without looking at a fucking Joker.
I hate that
cringe
the fucking
internet.
Like, oh,
I
God,
know, they ruined it. It's a very valid sentence to say.
Well, you can't even say the phrase "Among Us" either now without a bunch of 12-year-olds, like the literal most unfunny human beings on the planet, going, "Oh, he said the thing." It's fucking annoying.
I saw a great clip from. I saw a great clip from a Twitch streamer who was playing. What was he playing? I think he was playing like Super Mario Odyssey, and he discovered an interesting area, and he's like, "Oh, whoa, what's this?" And then he paused for a second. And went, oh no. Oh no.
God. Right. Can't say sus, can't say Among Us. You can't ever anymore. Like, this is a weird mimetic thing that's now, you can't start any sentence with the words, we live in a society that blank, whatever the hell you want to say, even though it's, grammatically perfectly fine. But everybody's going to assume that you're about to shoot up a Batman screening.
I abso-fucking-lutely hate now that when I'm doing comedy writing and making videos, I have to like double check certain things I've written so that they don't relate to memes, because I don't want people assuming I'm just doing a meme. It fucking drives me up a goddamn wall when I have to like look over my script and go, good fucking God, is this close to that one meme? Oh God, everyone's gonna assume I'm just memeing. Gotta edit that slightly. Can't say Among Us. Can't say society. I cannot fucking stand it.
Although
I hate it with a fucking passion.
There's so many words now.
I'm joining you in complaining about it, but in the Per Cat Cafe video, I definitely purposefully included the bit where Diane Kelly says, "We live in a society."
There's definitely times for it. Like when you want to embrace it, it works. But I feel like when you just say a word, it shouldn't trigger that fucking response.
Exactly.
When you're trying to
genuinely, internet comedy is so homogenized now, and it's all the same jokes over and over and over again that when you try to do something different, people will still, like pattern fucking seeking robots, go, "Oh my God, he did that one thing out of this hour-long video that relates to this one thing." It's the fucking worst. I hate it so much.
But this is part of the flattening effect of the internet, right?
Exactly. It's fucking crushing creativity and stifling the internet because it's all boiling down to the same shit. You either make and embrace these references or you get out of the way.
Wait. That's not entirely true. You can still be creative.
You can, but Jackson, you can, but think about it. How many videos come out where someone makes a really well thought out work, but then there's a time code at the video, let's say 4 minutes in, and every YouTube comment is, "Oh, look at 4 minutes. I saw the Among Us guy. There he is." And it's like, okay, I guess everything else I did does not matter.
Yeah, no,
It's
but
like-
your creativity still exists.
He's just
Right,
complaining
Jackson,
about
there's
that
so
general
many-
attitude.
There's so many landmines.
The audience is
and
always going to be like
eggshells.
that. They were probably like that 20 years ago. just
Exactly. I'm
Never-
complaining about the
you
audience.
never use comments as a gauge for the general
Oh
feeling.
no, I don't.
Like-
I don't. I'm complaining about the audience. I'm not complaining about the content.
He's complaining about you guys. He hates you.
Yeah, you out there listening. This is
This
your
is-
fault.
This is the beginning
Everyone-
of your down the rabbit hole episode.
You're not
Everyone in the comments, just if you've already left a comment on this podcast, just change it, edit it just to say Amogus. Please, just. I feel Andrew's pain. I mean, it's created a new, like, so many landmines that you don't want to step in just so, like, your point doesn't get lost. Because if you say, again,
Yeah.
if you so much as show a screenshot of something that mildly resembles like an Among Us alien, whatever the fuck they are, the astronauts.
The people leaving those comments weren't going to get the
imagine-
point originally anyway, though.
Yeah, but Jackson,
imagine you're doing
They will
a deep
spam the comments. They will spam the comments with those fucking memes, and that white noise drowns out the point that was originally supposed to be made.
Jackson, think of it this way. Imagine you're doing a documentary on something you find actually really fascinating. Imagine you're fucking Fredrik Knudsen. It's fucking like, oh, let's talk about the disaster of the Titan ship. It was a ship and it was really interesting and had all this history and it was in Russia. And then fucking you're like, and 69 passengers were killed. How many people are going to go, oh, 69, dude? Woo!
Yeah, but I feel like I'd be making that documentary more for me, really, so I wouldn't really care what the
You
comments
know
and
I'm
I
right
get that,
here. You can
Jackson.
just ask me.
Yeah, fair. Jackson, I get that. I'm not saying
If only
it.
you were here.
I'm not saying it
Fucking
What would
only.
Fred do?
I'm not saying it takes away or detracts from the work or the satisfaction. I'm just saying the feedback has lost any and all merit and quality. Like none of it matters anymore. Any and all comments and feedback that anyone
It's the
gets on the internet
Most
does
feedback,
not matter.
Most feedback doesn't matter on the internet,
And that's kind
it
of
never has,
depressing
really.
because I feel like it should. You should be able to like talk with people and get a valid opinion or criticism or something.
You can do that with your trusted trusted.
But how do you find them? If you're looking for
You find friends
in your community. Yeah, number one, how do you find friends? But number two, how do you find them in your community?
Someone
Stop yelling
will,
at me, fuck.
post a photo of like their children's birth certificates, like happy, trying to celebrate on Twitter, but because their thumb is in it and it looks like the Among Us character, people are like Amogus. Like,
Exactly.
Okay, you're like
It's
a fucking
especially bad
spam
on
bot now.
streams.
Yeah.
On streams, it's really bad.
Don't post.
Yes, stream
If
chat
you-
is terrible.
If you say, because like over the course of like a 6-hour stream, at some point you might say among, and that word right there already is enough to trigger it. Like
Yeah.
and then you just see it
And-
spammed in your chat for like 2 minutes. Like it's super.
Right, yeah, like just by
and that's
saying
the
that
big-
word, just by making that sound, you've guaranteed that your chat is gonna drown in white noise now. It's gonna be
Exactly.
unusable.
And the big question on it, Jackson, is how do you find the quality? Say you make a video and it's something you're super passionate or invested in. Say you love Counter-Strike and you're like, I'm going to recount this championship I think is amazing. And you go, let me check the comments and see if anyone has any other facts about it or any other topics they want me to cover. And then you scroll through it and they go, oh, look at the timestamp at 8:33, guys. It's the red Amogus guy. Ha ha ha.
I don't need any more examples of how audiences react. I know how audiences react when memes happen. Yes,
But then-
I
but
just don't
yeah.
get the same annoyance.
My
really.
big
That's all
annoyance is
I'm
lately
saying.
it feels even more and more diluted. Like we used to at least have a variety of memes, and even though they were mostly terrible, they were kind of spread out. Now there's like 3. And there's just 3 that are
Yeah.
repeated ad infinitum forever.
Yeah, but there'll be 3 more in 6 months, and it'll change. Don't worry.
It'll still be
It's not going to
annoying.
be Among Us forever.
It'll still be annoying. Like in 3 months, we're not gonna be able to say the word fucking the. Because people are just gonna meme in the comments. It's just annoying.
How could you ruin the word "the" for us?
Oh,
I
don't
don't
doubt the
know.
internet.
But they will. They will.
Oh,
we
no,
all know
it'd
they
be
will.
like it'd be like the E meme except with the probably.
Well, hey, the
Right.
word "some" is already kind of ruined.
some.
Somebody once told
Oh.
me the world. Yeah, I see that a lot. You guys don't see that?
I do.
I don't see that
Just
one.
memed.
Thankfully. There you go. People are gonna spam the fucking SpongeBob screenshot with the word "the," where he spends all episode.
You know,
like,
I'm
just
just
crafting it.
Wait.
I'm still fucking
Wait.
No, I'm not over it. I mentioned like I'm here. You could just ask me, and you just kept going. I literally I shut up just to see how long it would take you, like, to remember that I'm here.
I think my little.
He's still gonna go.
What's the time on this? Has someone been keeping track?
An hour
a
and
couple of
44
seconds.
minutes, buddy.
No, not the
a
whole
few
podcast.
seconds.
I mean, how long he's going to go.
Oh,
So, Fredrik, do you have any comments on why Andrew's documentary?
Hates memes.
what is your least favorite meme, Fred? There's gotta be one.
The problem is I only remember the ones I like.
Oh, that's probably for the best.
Yeah, it probably is for the best.
All right, well then, to bring this full circle, who do you make your content for? Do you listen to comments, Fredrik?
Comments are tricky because the first thing one of the first hurdles that I had to mount was that YouTube is set up in a very interesting way. Most of the time, people are going to see the top comments first. Now, let's suppose you are a commenter. Let's suppose you watch one of my videos and you have a thought about, for example, Game 2 of the second match between Kasparov and Deep Blue. Very intense game with a very intense conclusion. You go to the comments and then you see someone else has already said something similar to what you wanted to say. You say, oh, okay, I'll just like that and carry on. Like, I don't have to write out a comment for this. Like, my opinion and thought is already represented in this comment section. But let's suppose you think my video is shit. Like, it is utter trash. It's boring.
No.
Why is this guy talking about some stupid board game that is old and isn't Among Us? Well, you are going to, like, you go down to the comment section, and all of the top comments are very supportive. So because those are the ones that were thumbs up and replied to. And you say, well, my opinion isn't being represented, so I'm going to leave a comment. This means that especially after the initial influx of comments for a video, not most of them, but a significant proportion, a disproportionate number of them are going to be negative. And that means that if you are just looking at the new comments coming in, you are going to mostly see negativity, especially with me, where it takes months between uploads. So there's sort of a bias for YouTubers who are using the YouTube Studio app toward negative comments. But even then, right? I will go through the comments and I will look at criticisms, and if there are criticisms that are being stated over and over and over again, then maybe it's something I need to look into. But if it's something that I just do not feel fundamentally I need to change in the video or in future videos, then I won't do it. Because if you start trying to tailor your content too much to your existing audience, then you will inadvertently pull in people that you don't want to make content for. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, how people like DSP and Wings continue to make content for their detractors because they were the ones giving them money, rather than just making the content for the hypothetical audience that they wanted and building that audience. In my case, I will not always cave to the comments. I usually won't, because I am making videos for people who are as interested in this kind of thing as I am and will enjoy the way that I can present it. So in that way, over the years, and this has been deliberate, I have managed to draw in an audience that will follow me no matter what topic I do.
If only Fredrik was here to explain himself.
If only.
Yeah.
If Fred was here,
I
I'd
think
tell
my
him that
goof earlier didn't land. Fredrik, I was calling it out as if you weren't here, and then, but it, yeah.
Okay.
I was going in a
I don't
bad
think
place
it
with
did.
that. No, I remembered you were here.
Am I the only one who didn't quite get that? that it was supposed to be?
No, yes.
No.
Yes.
I'm so confused.
Okay.
Don't worry. I wasn't trying to ignore you. I was just setting
know,
you as
I
the
wasn't,
example.
Fred.
I thank
wasn't
you for the
offended.
work you do.
I wasn't offended. I want you to
good,
know I'm
good.
not annoyed. I'm not angry. I'm having a wonderful
No,
time.
I just wanted to make sure you didn't think I was ignoring you. That's
no, I
all.
don't. I don't.
Neither am I. No one-
Fredrik, the truth is, we're all just very passionate about the topics
We are.
being talked about tonight. So it's just,
We've talked about
We
your
are.
content in
More
particular for like
introduction.
whole episodes to steer the conversation.
You're
Yeah.
too sweet. You're too sweet.
And because of that, Fredrik, I would again like to thank you for bringing these phenomenons to a wider audience, because every single time I reference one of these people that you always talk about, it's like, who's that? Like, it's on YouTube. Just look it up. Go to Fredrik's channel. Look it up. It's neatly, tightly packed. You don't have to read a 7,000 page thread on the fucking forums. Just go to his video. It's nicely, entertainingly packaged into a nice,
they're greatly produced.
greatly produced and
it.
entertaining, and you can find out about these lunatics that fucking exist. Thank
An
to God.
irreducible
Allah
complexity.
Akbar.
Not just
They
the
exist.
lunatics.
I love them.
right.
I
Thank
really
you.
do
Not
try,
just-
but
not
thank
just
you.
lunatics.
I try really hard. I know that my videos tend to be quite long, but I do my best to make them as compact as possible. Like if I want my videos to be like 100% cacao dark chocolate, like there is no filler in there. That's
now you got
always
me.
the goal. Like every little bit is just pure
Yes.
information that also drives the plot and drives the narrative. That's
And
the
if
goal.
you don't like dark chocolate, you're wrong. Tune out. We don't want your business.
I hate dark chocolate.
I'm also not a big dark chocolate
Jackson,
guy.
Jackson,
Depends
don't
on
make
the
it fucking
chocolate.
blow
Well, it's
you
not
again.
just me. It's
No.
not just me.
You're just wrong, though.
Many agree.
You're just wrong, though.
Dark
Dark
chocolate
chocolate
sucks,
is
dude.
literally healthy for you, Jackson. It's tasty and it's good for you.
very healthy for you.
Yes.
Yeah, dark chocolate's
Yeah.
like
Yes.
actually pretty good for you.
Jackson,
can be,
chocolate.
Well, that's probably why it fucking sucks so much. Nothing good is healthy.
Yeah,
Jackson,
that's what
chocolate is
living
healthy for you. The only reason people think it's not healthy for you is because they take chocolate, they add a bunch of fucking sugar by the ton, and then you eat it. Yeah, by that time it's not healthy because you eat the sugary shit. Eat dark chocolate. Endorsed by the official podcast /official. Fred, before we let you go, we have to wrap up in a second here, but I'm noticing that our chat is in mutiny and they're going to dox us and stalk us and kill us if we don't talk about masturbation for at least like a minute.
It's the
okay.
Fred. It's just the topic we've always been known for. It's
Yeah.
nothing
I,
We
you know,
have
you know
to.
what?
And
I
You
was
can
mentally
save it for your
not you,
upcoming
it's
rabbit
us.
hole on
I
it.
was mentally steeled for this.
Oh, nice.
Good.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
Okay. Hit us. How do you
It just
polish the pole?
it feels so weird. It feels so weird and like bringing this up now after such an enlightening 1.5 hours of conversation
enlightening?
of education. Yeah, just to talk about, just to end it on masturbation. It just feels a bit.
We're
lame
tying it
now.
up in a
Whatever.
nice, neat bow.
Yeah, this is the cherry on top. Take it away, Fredrik.
What do you mean,
Yeah,
take
what's
it
your
away?
Wacky.
But
We're known for forcing our
Right, go
guests.
ahead and start. We're gonna critique it live on the show. You didn't get the memo?
okay.
Someone ask
Masturbate.
him, please.
No. The question is always, do you have any wild and wacky tales of masturbation?
Okay. Do I?
your
Like, I
time.
am
It's okay.
earnestly trying to answer the question. Do I
Not
have-
every guest does, so don't
You
feel
can save
obligated.
it for your down the rabbit hole episode if you'd rather.
I'll put it. People keep asking me to make a down the rabbit hole about down the rabbit hole. It'll go in there. It'll just be like a 30-second segment.
Do it on our show. God knows there's enough material. How do you
I'm really
feel
trying
about?
to.
I'll give you a.
All right,
I'll give you
all
a theme. Because I do want to talk about this still about the Reddit child rapist, and one of them goes to a camp. I didn't know.
We literally don't have time.
Yeah,
No,
come on,
not
I
today.
wanna go.
Not today. Sorry. I mean, like in the future. I would like to time it precisely when Reddit goes public, because they're in the middle of going public as a company, and that's when I want to talk about how Reddit is literally run by pedophiles. Fredrik, Reddit employs people who go to a camp, and I didn't know that there was a camp for adult baby diaper lovers. I've sent Jackson a bunch of photos about this.
You've got another
which are
hour,
just
right,
way too many.
Fredrik?
I have been informed about ABDL.
Yeah, I'm very familiar. I used to go on their forums sometimes and just read.
Right.
Well, they have summer
therefore,
camps, and those summer camps they have produced some of my favorite photographs on the internet. I probably can't show this on the video, but here is a man, for those just listening and not patrons, who is throwing a baseball at camp, and in the back is men in diapers holding My Little Pony plushies, and he's about to toss a wicked fucking baseball like he's in an anime, but he's wearing a diaper, and the diaper is obviously full.
That's not a
and he has a
baseball.
Flappy Bird shirt.
That's a plastic
not?
baby.
Yeah, it's a doll.
He's about to chuck a baby.
Oh, you're right.
Well, not a real baby.
I didn't even
for the
pay
people
attention
not
to that.
able to
Thank
see
you
the
for
photo.
making that photo even better. He's like, he's about to wind up a fucking Beyblade, but it's a little baby doll.
Let it rip.
Have you, I don't know, how do you feel? This is my low-key way of requesting as a fan of your channel. I'm just trying to get a request in, really. For a future deep dive. Can you do that, Camp?
What would the history of it? If you want
Please.
camp stories, I have my own camp stories.
Oh
my
Not
God.
like this, I hope.
Do I actually get to share the story of Lake Hurl
Yes.
with an audience?
Lake. Wow, that's a very ominous title.
Yes. I was in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. I never got past first class because I was doing other things. Like I was fencing at the time. Like that was my sport. And I was more interested in things like that. So I didn't ever get past first class in Boy Scouts. But there was a camp I went to in Boy Scouts that, Kaya, are you just going to keep posting pictures of the ABDL camp?
I will.
And good, Jackson's face is now on the baby yeeter. Not baby eater, baby yeeter. Like this baby empty yeet.
Jackson,
My
I don't know
mother
where
would be so
everyone's
proud.
clipping your face from, but I love it. Oh no,
It's
now they're doing it to
incredible.
me. Uh-oh, I
So-
don't love it anymore.
Okay, so when I was in Boy Scouts, I went to a camp. I went to a number of camps. I wasn't really into the whole merit badge thing, but I just liked camping. And at this particular camp, I don't even remember the camp's name, but the moment that we arrived, there were flies everywhere. I mean, you step out of the car and there is a dull buzz because of all of the flies. Turns out this camp was home to a lake called Lake Hurl. Lake Hurl was a lake in name only. It was a glorified pond with stringy seaweed that wrapped around your leg when you tried to swim in it. It felt like something reaching down from below to pull you in. Lake Hurl acted as a breeding ground for two varieties, very virulent varieties, of biting flies. There were the small black ones, which were fairly stupid and you could swat and kill pretty easily. The other kind were horse flies. Massive.
Jesus, those things are huge.
Utterly
Those are
huge.
huge.
This is a pretty hot masturbation story.
It's
Keep going.
this isn't a masturbation
I like
story. I
it.
just wanted to talk about Lake Hurl. I'm sorry I co-opted your masturbation segment for my own
touching
purposes.
himself right now.
It's payback. It's payback.
This is payback. Fucking. So these horse flies, they're massive. And not only are they massive, but they're fast and they're sneaky. I remember I was sitting bored during like a wood cutting class or something. I look over at the person next to me. He's wearing a vest, and one of the horse flies, massive ones, lands like as big as your thumb, if not bigger, right? Like I have pretty thin fingers, and it was like about as big as, like it was bigger than my thumb. And yes, horseflies will stalk you. This horsefly landed on this person's back, on their vest. I watched it gently open its mouth pinchers, sink it into the fabric of his vest, pull them out again gently, close its jaws, and fly away. These things meant
These flies
business.
have pincers? I thought flies
Like,
only have
for
those like
their
elongated
mouths.
like anteater tubes.
No, their mouths. No, these are biting flies. These are flies with jaws. They will rip chunks of your flesh out. I personally,
Ew.
like everyone ended that weekend, week, it was a summer camp, covered in fly bites. It became a habit to swat at your body constantly in order to keep them off. I remember I did an experiment
could
where
have
I
been worse.
stopped swatting at my body for about 12 seconds, absolutely covered in flies.
Oh God.
Yeah, it could have been worse. They could be the ones that lay eggs. in you.
I guess they could have been
yeah.
bot flies. I suppose it could have been worse, but at that point, I'm not sure there would have been a Boy Scout camp at that place. Like, this was as bad as it could get before they wouldn't allow, like, children
Right.
to stay there.
that makes
I
sense.
did...
Oh, so you didn't get molested?
No, I was very fortunate in that regard.
Okay.
Maybe
good.
it's because I was good with a gun, but I was a good shot.
Not to fuck
No,
with
I was a
That
good
little
shot.
boy knows his First Amendment, guys. Don't rape him.
You mean Second Amendment?
Second.
I am a
My bad.
decent, like, I am a decent shot. Thank you very much. It's been years since I've been to the range, though. I never kept up with it. But anyway, when I was kayaking, one thing that we had to do in order to get our kayaking merit badge was to paddle a swamped kayak back to shore. And it was at that moment, right after I had swamped my kayak, that one of the massive horseflies decided to target me. I hear this thing buzzing around me, and I am madly swinging my paddles in the air, trying to keep it off of me. And like the scoutmaster on the shore is like staring at me as I'm flailing my kayak paddles in the air as I desperately try to get a few paddles in so I can eventually make it back to shore. And then finally, the buzzing stops, and I'm like, okay, I can get moving. So I start paddling. The minute my paddle hits the water, I hear a crunch on my shoulder. I swat at it, and all there is blood on my palm, covering my palm and trickling down my arm. The horsefly
it,
got his
you
pound of
monster.
flesh.
That's a pretty badass line.
I think the more like the flies weren't dangerous, but I did almost drown there. Because I have never had a ton of body fat, and we were getting our swimming merit badge in like 50 or 45 degree lake water. It was another lake next to Lake Hurl that we were doing this. I went swimming and my joint, like we were in deep water, and my joints started locking up.
Did you have fun at this camp?
No,
by
this
chance?
camp seems
I did
miserable.
not.
Yeah.
It was miserable. Some of them were fun. This was like the worst week of my life. Anyway, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
It almost sounds like it would have been a
you
better
for the,
time to get molested by the
story.
camp scouts there. by the
At some
leaders.
point. Maybe if they were bot flies.
Ooh, God, those things are fucking gross, man.
Anyway, I'm sorry
Flies-
that I went
flies in
on.
general
I'm
are
sorry
gross.
that I rambled on about Lake Hurl.
No, you have nothing to
Wait,
apologize
so
for.
what?
not
Ex-
rambling.
what I am curious. What exactly made you think of like Hurl when we brought up like masturbation? Like what?
It was
what
the
took you there?
ABDL camp. Remember,
It was the
Kaya
camp.
suggested
Yeah.
ABDL.
It was the ABDL.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm getting so fucking lost.
Remember Kaya posting that?
Yeah, the dude chucking a baby.
Sorry, chat.
I will treasure that. Thank you.
It's my
Well, it was
favorite
great to have
photo.
you on,
Thank you for that
Frederick.
story, Fred.
Yeah.
It was
right.
my pleasure.
And thank you for joining us to tell us that
Yes.
story.
Shout out
Really
your stuff,
appreciate you
please.
coming on.
Oh,
Again,
sure.
like, and clearly where we can find all you.
Right.
and your
So
videos.
you pretty much just have to search YouTube for Down the Rabbit Hole and you'll find my series. But the channel name is Fredrik Knudsen. It shouldn't be too difficult to find. Although I have also started doing tea streams on Twitch, where literally I just have a camera trained on my tea set, like my tea tray and my gaiwan, and I make tea and chat. And that's it. It's
Oh, that's nice.
Could you,
It's
that's
very
Really
chill.
cute.
I'm considering expanding
I'm
it
very
out because
jealous of that.
people have been enjoying it quite a bit. And so I'm just Fredrik Knudsen on Twitch as well, if anyone's interested in joining on that. But I'm
like
thinking of
a
expanding it
real-life-
out. I'm having fun with it. I might do some readings as well of like some classic literature.
Aw. You're like a real life Uncle Iroh with the tea.
That
Because that's that guy. He always used to inspire me to drink more tea, but because I have like the palate of a dog, I could never enjoy tea for some reason. It never.
So
I don't know.
this
I
is
guess I'm
actually
more-
something if you would like, I am putting together a document that basically is an introduction on how to make good loose leaf tea, because if you brew tea correctly, a lot of the time it's not bitter. And if you choose the right teas as well, not all teas are bitter. So it's possible that you either were just having a really bad tea. Bagged tea is often quite bad, is the majority of the time quite bad. And it's bitter and it's astringent and it's unpleasant and you have to put sugar in it to make it tolerable. But with a lot of good loose leaf tea, you don't need anything. It doesn't taste good with sugar or cream.
No, I'm actually just a stupid mutt who doesn't understand taste. I'm pretty sure, like, the way I drink my coffee, I'm a big bitch for coffee. It's dark and very strong, no sugar, no milk. And when I drink tea, it's usually, I don't know, I just don't taste it enough, I guess.
There are
and
some
that's
teas.
why when I watched, yeah.
There are just some teas I think that you should definitely try. You should try Ripe Pu'er, Show Pu'er. It is a
What a name.
Jesus, what?
Yeah, it sounds like a laxative tea.
It actually okay. So you joke like you guys remember Jackie Chan Adventures, where
Of
where
course I
where
do.
Uncle was
Yes.
always like good for digestion. That literally is this. Like Pu'er is good for digestion. It's wonderful. I love it personally. I've been addicted to it recently. But you might want to try that. And if anyone wants to learn how to make tea properly, you're welcome to come onto the stream and ask questions. It's Puerh. That's how you spell it, if you're curious.
Yeah, Jesus, there's like
But
guides on it. Complete Beginner's Guide to Shoe Pu'er Tea. Wow.
Yes.
All right. I'll give it a try on
It's
your
quite easy to
recommendation.
brew as well.
Thank you.
It's very easy to brew. But you saying, like, comparing me in any way to Uncle Iroh is special because I have one character, like one person that I aspire to be, and that is Uncle Iroh.
Oh, nice. Good shit.
It is, yeah, that is a good character to aspire to. Very
Great
wholesome,
character.
very cool.
All right. Well, thank you again, Fredrik, for coming on, man. Really
thank
enjoyed
you
it.
for coming
Yeah,
on.
thank you.
Yes.
Go check him out if you haven't already. Down the rabbit hole. Go check him out. Thank you to everyone for joining us for this week's episode of The Official Podcast. We've got a Patreon, patreon.com/The Official Podcast with bonus episodes and bonus content. You can also tune into live episodes if you're a patron. There are a lot of people here tonight listening to us live. You could be one of them next time.
See all the memes of people photoshopping us into diaper-wearing people throwing babies.
It's incredible.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. Thanks to my co-host and thanks to Fredrik for joining us.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. It was great.
Thank you for coming on. Thanks for spending 2 hours listening to us interrupt you.
Actually, I was going to say, you guys are pretty good about that. I was rather impressed.
That is probably the
Thank
first
you.
time we've ever heard
Outright
that.
lie.
Shut up, Jackson. Jesus.
Can we clip that and put it at the like the very beginning of the episode to preempt any angry comments about how we're cutting off people's favorite YouTuber?
It's just it's hard on Discord and it's hard when we're all passionate.
Yeah,
Leave us
I really
alone.
think it's a Discord
It
thing.
is.
yeah.
It's the latency.
There's definitely
It is.
delay.
It's very different online. People are like, "Oh, fucking, Joe Rogan doesn't do this." Yeah, because he's like his guest is in
Yeah.
the studio and he can see him and like you can
you-
see
yeah,
his
you
guest
have to
opens
remember
his
we-
mouth.
We can't fucking see each other, so we don't know when someone is intending to speak or how they're instantly reacting to something. We have to go entirely by our voices, which are delayed.
Well, yeah, even if
We're
you
trying.
could, even if you could see each other, that like fraction of a second of delay
There's
is
still latency.
enough to throw things off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for coming on, Fred.
Thanks.
It's
Thank
been
you,
a pleasure.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Goodbye.